Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world. Hello guys, my name's Glamour Joe. Welcome back to a new video on the YouTube channel. We're live on the ideas world. This is my ideas world. It's where I come up with my ideas. My ideas. This is where I come up with my ideas. Hello random BFDI lover, welcome to the stream. Did I answer your question yesterday? Yes. To answer your question, because I don't know whether you were still in my stream yesterday, random BFDI lover. But yes, the Dollmaker is a 18 rated horror story, so it is technically an adult story. Yes. I didn't know whether you were still in the stream yesterday when I answered the question. It's the only story that I've written that's not aimed at. It's the only story which is actually aimed at a specific audience. Everything else is sort of every other book I've wrote is sort of aimed at 12, 13 year olds, but the Dollmaker is not. The Dollmaker is aimed at 18-year-olds because it is a dark story. It's about a man that makes human dolls. So yeah, it is 18 rated. So it is aimed at it. So it is a horror. But most horror stories are aimed at 18 years old. They are aimed at adults. I thought I'd quickly answer your question because I don't know whether you heard my answer on the stream yesterday. Oh, my nose. Right, we're on the ideas world today. We're gonna have a bit of fun. We're gonna have a bit of fun. We're gonna look. This is the old pet shop design before my before it got wiped out by the creeper. Is my mic on? Is my mic on? Yes, it is. You guys can hear me, I think. That's good. You can hear me on this stream, can you? To hear the sound of my voice. So. Right, so. We're just on the ideas. Okay, so they have glitched and are now going through walls. Let's wait for them to come back through. Zonk, they're coming through the walls. I love it. I love my invention. These two are always sat there looking at this grass. You are able to do other things. Weird. Come on, villager. You're just standing there. Wow. Hello, Rathson9. Welcome to the stream. Okay, we're just watching these laggy villagers. Came early. Yeah, the stream's only just started. Well, literally three minutes ago. Look at these laggy villagers, guys. Like, look, they're not even on the track. When they get here, they're not even on the track. Look, they're going through the site. They're going through the walls. Love it. I absolutely love it. How are you, Rathson9? And how are you, random BFDI lover? Just checking my Discord notifications. I've had a lot of notifications this morning. No, he did see it. He saw it, but you don't have to comment. If you're watching like a video, you don't have to comment all the time. I watch plenty of YouTube videos where I don't comment. And I think Decepted watches more YouTube videos than I do, to be honest. That you don't always have to comment. I think he saw it, but then, as I said, that Decepted's not young. Like, he's 22. Yeah, he's 22. Sorry, I forgot how old Decepted was then. Well, he's same. No, he's 4 months younger than me. So, yeah, he's 22. He can't comment all. He can't comment all the time. Like yeah, he's not. He can't comment all the time. If he joins the stream, I mean, he will. He might join the stream. I don't know, but he is at work. Like, he is busy. Not everybody can just do things at the drop of a hat. Like, for example, I've just put in a load of applications. I've just put in a load of job applications. So if I'm successful, then I will have to cut back these streams because I won't be here. You're 1 year older than he. Yeah, Decepted's younger than me. Decepted's born 2003. Decepted's not a year younger than me, though. He's 4 months. Did you release the book? What book? Oh, the Dollmaker. The Dollmaker's been released for months. It says I've released the book, but it said that for months. The Dollmaker actually came out in July. The book, The Dollmaker, actually came out in July. I'm not publishing another book now till at least next year. Maybe 2027, because the book I'm working on is particularly long. I've got another 40,000 words to write for this book. I said today next year. Yeah, I said I'd probably release a book in winter, but I mean winter next year. I mean winter 26, because the book I'm currently working on, Dawn of Planets 1's War, is nowhere near ready, and I wouldn't want to publish it now anyway, because I published book 3 this year of the Dawn of Planets series, so I wouldn't want to publish it now just because it wouldn't make sense. I did Dawn of Planets book 1 and 2 in the same year because they're only 6 months apart, whereas 1's War and Gathering Storm are much further apart. That would be in the World Cup. Yeah, but that's good. Summer 26. Summer 26 is the World Cup, but then summer is the best time to publish a book because people are off. People are off on holidays in summer. So it's not worth releasing in January because no one has any money in January, because January's straight after winter. They wouldn't focus on the book, but that's not the thing though. The World Cup's only a month. Summer is 4. Summer is 4 months, and plus, not everyone loves football. I love football, but not everyone loves football. There are people. When I did my uni course, out of a class of about 20 of us, I was the only. Out of my uni course, out of a class of about 10 of us, I was the only one that watched football and supported a football team. So my lecturer was a massive football fan, so he would often talk to students about football, and I was the only person in the class he could actually talk to about football. But it's foolish not to launch in summer. But I don't know what I'm gonna do yet though. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, because if I release it in summer, now it gives me the notification. Yeah, sometimes I get sometimes I don't get notified about I've started a stream. I know I've started the stream, of course, but sometimes I don't. Um, the thing is, though, as well, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I've made a decision that if I haven't finished this book by the end of November, then I'm going to push it back. I want to have 6 months. So I think by the end of December. So I think, as it stands at the moment, I think that this book could be as late as November 2026. I'll be almost 24 by the time I release that. I'll be almost 24 by the time I release it, and it would be... Yeah, crazy. Ironically, I released the first one when I was 21. So, yeah. I released the first one when I was 21, because I wasn't 22 then. I released the second one when I was 22. The third one when I was 22. And the next one, I'll be closer to 24 by the end of the next one. I'll come back to that. It's alright? What should we build? I want to design something that we can build. Give me a sec. I'll be back in a second, guys. Right, I'm back. So sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I'm back. Sorry. Hi, how are you doing today? I'm doing really well. Hello, Assassin Gamer. Do apologise, guys. I had to go downstairs and ask my sister to turn the downstairs TV down a bit, but she turned it really loud. But I asked her to turn it down, return the mic on, and instead she turned it up louder, so I had to go down and tell her to turn it off again. I'm back. Sorry. This is a weird house. Yeah. What we're on a... I'm doing... Hello, Glowbeans. Welcome to the stream. We're not on my survival world. We're on my ideas world, where I come up with build ideas. This is the McDonald's. This is the McDonald's design from my Survival Legacy world. This design was on here from 2018 till I decided to build it in 2023. Or was it 22? It was an idea built on here for 4 or 5 years before I decided to actually do something with it. We're just designing build ideas today, everyone. I do apologise, guys. The stream's been stop and start. I asked my sister to turn down the downstairs TV, and she just didn't listen. She would not listen, so I had to go down and forcefully grab the remote from her and turn it down myself, because she wouldn't listen. All I could hear upstairs was just loud music playing, and it's all shit music anyway. All she's playing, honestly, guys, is just Five Nights at Freddy's parody songs. And they are fucking shit. Let's build a house. Let's build a house out of some blocks that you wouldn't normally build a house out of. I'm going to build a house out of some slime blocks and stone. Let's go find a spot to build. So, bloody hell, I look like a king. I've got my cape on too. Da, 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 da. All I need is a sword. All I need is a sword, eh? Onwards, onwards, legendary gentlemen. Onwards. Take that, cow. Take that. In the name of the king. You know, it's not her fault, but this is going to sound wrong to some of you, but if there are children, sometimes if you have children who have like autism or, you know, disorders like that, sometimes obviously, because they technically are classed as special kids, but you've got to the point now which they're starting to believe that they're special, as in thinking they're great, which the problem nowadays, this might sound wrong, but it's got to the point where kids generally believe they're special, but they don't realise that it's not in that term. It's not used in that term. And that's the concerning part, I think. I think the concerning part nowadays is that because they invented the thing of, you know, special needs, you've got kids nowadays that think they generally are starting to think that they are special. And you do have the case of, which is very sad, you have the case of as well, which is very sad, is they are generally starting to think that, you know, some of them are starting to think that the world revolves around them, which it is a very sad, it is really sad. So, for example, in the case, as I said, in the case of my sister, because obviously, you know, the terminology special, she thinks that she can just get away with, you know, blaring loud music at whatever time, and basically doesn't understand that other people have got to get up to go to work, or that other people have feelings. And it's not her fault, but it's a society that it's also a thing, guys, as well. It's a society now that generally is great. It's accepting and understands, you know, there are people with special needs. But is there a point where it's too accepting, and that things that shouldn't be accepted are accepted, like thinking thinking you're perfectly allowed to blare music at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, wake everybody else up, when people have got to go to work at 6 o'clock and things like that. That's the interesting thing. Like, there was a clip of a young girl a few years ago. Basically, there was a clip of a young girl a few years ago. I think she was like, you know, 10, 11, 12 or something like that. And basically 4 laptops, and her parents refused to let her have a new laptop or something like that, because she broke one of them. She needed one to text, one to one to message, one to open the text, one to read the text, or something like that. And the thing was, you know, some people call their children, you know, some parents call their children, their daughters, for example, princess. And there was an interesting comment on that, which, do you have to tell your children at some point, just because they call you princess doesn't mean you're not actually a princess? What do you think, guys? Should we build it? Should we generally just build the wibbly bobbly slime house? I generally think we should give this to a villager. I generally think we should make a villager house, and he lives in, you know, a house made of slime blocks. But what do you guys think? Last year, a kid got in my class and got in a chair in the front. Got in a chair, as in got. Do you mean got on a chair or in a chair? Yeah, it's history books in front of it. That's cool. History books. That's a good idea. I would do that if I had my Legacy World on my laptop. I would do that. Somebody said to me, "Why don't I put my book in Minecraft?" And I don't think they understand that you can't copy and paste. So I would have to copy everything word for word. And can you imagine how long it would take to copy 40,000 words? Do you guys know what it would take to do that? Copying. Some famous houses I built on my channel. Yeah, cool. Somebody wanted me to put my book into Minecraft, but I don't think they realised how long it would take. Like, you know, one of my books, most of my books have been between 40 and 50,000 words. It would take me between 100 and 200 hours. It would take me between 10 to 200 hours depending on the typing speed. A professional copy editor might do 1,000 words an hour. Well, the fastest typer in the world was a lady in 1975. She typed 212 words per minute, and she could do 150 for a sustained period of 50 minutes. In modern competitive typing, individuals have surpassed their speeds in online environments. Yeah, but that's an online environment though. Like, 200 words a minute. That's 100. That's a lot more. What is everyone? Can you show your first build in this world? Honestly, I can't, because I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you what it was. It's got to be around here. I'm generally convinced it's this. So, because this isn't really a world, this is really just ideas. So, somebody on one of my streams told me that this was a shit Minecraft world recently, and I said to him, well, this is not a world. I told them this is not a world. They were telling me how shit this Minecraft world is, and I said, but it isn't a Minecraft world. It's basically just me coming up with ideas for builds that I want to build in my survival world. So really, it's just an experiment. It's a sketchbook. It's experimentation. So I decided to create the biggest cooker in the world. These torches actually don't do fuck all. It's just there for design. I decided to make the biggest cactus farm ever. Which was an incredibly brilliant idea. Shall we make it? Yeah, I mean, there was a person here recently, they told me this world is shit, but I'm like, it's not, it can't be shit though. It's not really a world. It's really just me coming up. This is just where I come up with ideas for what I would like to build. A 100%, guys. Like, this world really, this is just me coming up with what I want to build at any given moment. The Titanic. Oh yeah, that was me trying to. That wasn't me trying to build the Titanic. That was me just trying to build an ocean liner. That was me just trying to build a cruise ship. It just happened to be that I went with red, white, and black. Yeah, that wasn't me designing the Titanic, but then I can see the resemblance. I mean, I've built a lot in this world. I want to build it. I'm not very good at building boats. That's something. That's sort of why we've built that. Because I'm not very good at building boats. I've never been very good at building boats. That's one thing I've never been very good at. So it was me just experimenting, really, if I could try and make one. There we go. Yeah. I'm not very good at building boats, so I'm just trying to... I made this one, which doesn't look too bad. When you're building a boat, the front side of the boat goes from small to long, and the end it's opposite. Small to long. Well, I've got one boat. Oh shit! Sorry guys, my one of my I'm wearing some shorts that are a little bit tight on my leg, on my thigh, and it just cut into my skin a bit. There we go. So I made this boat. I made this boat, which is obviously not meant to be a boat. It's meant to be a boat that's crashed on a desert island. That's not a boat. That's an orca. That's not a boat. That's meant to be an orca. I have built a few boats, which I can show you guys a boat that I have worked on that I somehow managed to create. I can join the VC. I can join the VC, if I can find my headphones, which luckily I did leave them on the desk last night. That's good. But I just won't have it on the stream because the last time someone pressed a soundboard in there. This is a boat. There we go. We've got a boat that we worked on. I am just going to turn that volume down. It's a little loud on my laptop. There we go. Hello? Hello? I'm good. How are you? I have made a boat before. I've got well, no, there's only one person in the chat right now. There's only one person on the stream. Well, now there's 4. I'm just going to mute the mic a minute. Some school children have gone past screaming. Well, of course there can be upgrades. This is a... I mean, I built this when I was like 14. Possibly 15. Possibly 15. I have used a tutorial. I have used a tutorial for this one. Luckily, this is what today is. This stream today will be me just coming up with some ideas for the survival world. I think with that though, you don't need to go into a world with the idea of making it long time. But the thing is, I remember you saying something to me, Glowbeans, about trying to build old Minecraft. Trying to make your builds look old Minecraft. Don't do it. You build the way you want to build, rather than try and spend so much time making it old Minecraft. Just build what you want from the heart, and then it will be old Minecraft. Because old Minecraft came from people building what they wanted, not them clued up on watching videos trying to work out how they made old Minecraft. Old Minecraft came from people just built what they wanted. I think I haven't, because I'm flying around at the moment looking at build ideas. I really want to build this. To this. The meatball. To this day, this idea has been. I've looked at this idea so many times over the last 8 years. I really want to make it, and I've just never got round to it. I will make an announcement on this stream, guys. There will be no streams for 2 weeks. Not because I'm on holiday for 2 weeks. So in a couple of days' time, in a roughly 2 weeks' time, there will not be streams for 2 weeks. I don't know at the moment, because I'm tempted. I thought about what do I take my Elgato with me, but I'm like, oh shit! I can't get out. I can't get out the portal. This is bizarre. There we go. I want to build that, but I don't think I can get away with it. I tried to. Yeah. No, I mean I tried to build it and I couldn't get the portal to work. This throne, everyone on this stream, this throne was made to celebrate the crowning of King Charles. Because I wanted to remember where I was on May 5th, on May 6th, 2023. Jesus. He'd have been king for 3 years, 6 days. He'd He'd been king for 3 years in 6 days. It was alright, but then I don't use over the top thumbnails anymore. Oh yeah. I have made a boat recently actually. I have made 2 pirate ships. Where's the ideas war? Where's legacy? I need to... Maybe I should build something from the doll maker. There's something that I would do, but I don't know whether people would like it. I would totally make the serial killer's house from the doll maker in Minecraft and put armor stands there as the dolls. But I don't... Hello, Aiden. Welcome. Hello. Hello. Blimey. I'm... Jesus, I did that the other day. I pulled up an old hard drive for like uni stuff. I found a lot of uni work that I didn't need. What? See. Sorry. Oh. Jesus, PS3. I remember when they... I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I remember when they brought out the PS3 and Xbox One. I would have been 11 when they came out. I remember the big fanfare. I remember the big fanfare. You know, you had people waiting in the store, waiting outside the shops for hours to try and get one. It was even a televised event. Although there's what over your room? Did you say towels over your room, or did I mishear that? I do mishear things sometimes. Hello, Raffson9, welcome back, it's alright. Hello, Skatepunk. We're going to watch a movie. How are you? And bless you. Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. I was just, I had my Discord server. Hello, Sent. Welcome to the stream. I wasn't looking at the live chat. I was looking at Discord. I'm really good, Skatepunk. Thank you for asking. How are you? I have a film class today. We're watching a film. What film are you watching? Do you know what film you're watching? Yeah, thank you for the God bless you as well. Yeah, sorry guys, I joined my Discord server, so I got a few people in my Discord VC. I wasn't paying attention to the stream. I feel so bad. How long did you play this word? 9 years since. I do apologise. This film's not yet rated. So yeah, this film is not yet. It's about the rating system for films. Oh, yeah. Is that on the rating system? Is that on the rating system as in age rating? Yes, Gloomies? You know Decepted, and I don't like, and I don't did. You know Decepted, and I don't. Did he like it? I would never know. Sorry. Well, I don't know. Decepted didn't. I didn't ask Decepted if he liked it. He just said that he saw it. I have known Decepted for a long time, guys. I've known Decepted for longer than some people here have probably been alive. I am joking, guys. Yeah, is it? This film's not yet rated. Is it talking about the rating system as in the age rating, Skatepunk? By what you mean the rating system? Because the rating system's an interesting one. Yeah, because the rating system in the UK was brought in over something quite dark. The rating system, the age rating system in the UK was brought in because kids were reenacting what they saw in horror films, and they brought in the age rating system. There was a lady called Mary Whitehouse in the UK, and she campaigned for decades for pornographic films and violence to be banned from films, but she basically was too extreme. There was a clip in the TV series Doctor Who of someone being strangled by vines, by someone being strangled by living vines, and the stupidest part of that was that young kids knew it was just someone shaking the vines off camera. But there were certain things, yeah, the age rating in the UK was brought in because kids were enacting it. So I had a school teacher when I was like 13, 14. He taught me from when I was like 11 to like 16. He was a school teacher, and he said to us, they brought in when he was younger, films like Silent Running, when you have like the darts go into the head. They reenacted that as children. So basically, they threw darts at each other's heads, which I do remember you, Clamor Joe's kneecap. Yeah, someone was called Decepted's small cock yesterday, and I told Decepted about it, and I told Decepted about it, and Decepted said, I told Decepted about it, and Decepted said to me, "Oh, message me when the next time they're in the VC." Sorry, the stream chat, and I messaged him last night. Oh, they're in this stream, and he responded with, "Hello, Deceptor's got a small cock. I'm gonna beat you tonight." And of course, I knew he was gonna say that, and I did laugh when he said that because I knew it was coming. Oh shit, that sounds even worse. Hello, the Joke SD. Welcome to the stream. Oh god, that sounds bad, doesn't it? I shouldn't. I've got Omniver, who sometimes watches the streams, did say to me in the stream, you've got a habit of taking words and using them at exactly the wrong time. Oh, that is wrong. Sorry, guys. What's good? I'm good. How are you? The Jokes XD. Welcome to the stream. Oh, shit! The bed, you little viper. Get out. There we go. There we go. Let's leave this world and let's go to the ideas world and build some shit. Actually, why don't I just explore some other worlds for a bit? That would be cool. Should I pop to... What should I pop to first? Should I pop to... Should I pop to old Survival Legacy old copy or the Hunger Games map that I was working on? Let's do the Hunger Games map because I'd already clicked it. Remember my name, Joe? Rafa. Yeah, I would imagine it's that. I know it's short for Raphael because other people have been called who's been named Raphael have been called Rafa. There was something that confused me though, Rafa. When you joined, I looked at your channel because your shorts obviously appeared in my recommended. It says I'm British in it, and then it said, what was it? It says I'm British, and then it says United Arab Emirates. Is the United Arab Emirates part a joke? Because I know people that have done that. They've put on their YouTube videos that they're from different countries. Decepted once put Afghanistan on a YouTube thing. Decepted once created a channel and he was from Afghanistan. I wasn't talking to you, Glowbeans. I was talking to Rafa in the stream. I was on vacation. Oh, okay. Hello, Climate of Joe. How are you doing today? I'm doing really good, Angel292. How are you? I forgot to change it. That's kind of funny. No offense, everyone. I don't see the fascination. I probably will be live in about 2 hours, actually. Most likely. I streamed a lot I streamed a lot yesterday. I'll admit, guys, I streamed a lot yesterday, and I streamed for 6 hours I streamed for nearly 6.5 hours yesterday. I streamed for 6.5 hours yesterday. I then went and wrote... What was the podcast you but deleted? I studied film at uni level. I studied film at uni level, so I have a Bachelor of Science in it. And I was doing a podcast. I'm doing a film review podcast. And basically, when I did the stream, YouTube took it down. I think it was because I used too much of the scene. But I'm going to refilm it. I'm going to refilm it as a YouTube video. I just haven't had the chance to do it yet. But I'm aiming to have that done by tomorrow or Wednesday. Like, I will not sleep until that video's done. Like, yeah, honestly, guys, my work ethic is absolutely stupid. Literally, I did a 6.5 hour stream yesterday, and then I went and wrote for 5 hours. Then I put 5 hours of work into the Dawn of Planets novel. So I worked for over 11 hours yesterday. I'm knackered, but we're streaming today as well because I can rest when I'm dead. Although I actually had a good night's sleep last night. Although after finishing my book, I watched Independence Day as well. Have you guys seen the new Thunderbolts film? The Marvel film. I was sat there and I kept recognising the one which you shouted me out. The new Marvel Thunderbolts film I quite enjoyed, but I recognised this actor and I couldn't understand why, but it's Bill Pullman's son. Bill Pullman, who's in Independence Day, but his son looks like him. His son looks like him when he was in Independence Day. So that's what I found confusing. I was like, I recognise this guy, but I don't know why. But Bill Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman, looks exactly like him. Is that true, Globeans? I wouldn't think that though, because his son's only like what, 16. His son wouldn't be able to look like him now. He'd have to lose the beard. Interesting. What was the short? What short was your recommended from me? The one which you did shout me out. Rules and credits. Main builder myself. YouTube @Clamative Joe, and I've had to miss the E out because my spelling is absolutely atrocious, guys. Believe you me. This was I'd even started to put some loot in here. Have I watched The Walking Dead? It's something that people have mentioned to me numerous times, but no, I've never watched The Walking Dead. But the reason is, I don't like shows that even though it looks really good, but the thing I don't like about shows, the thing I don't like about certain TV shows is the fact that they go on for so long and then they do all these spin-offs. Well, is that what you said? It's broken. Well, I've had the blue snowball now for 6 years. I got it in 2019. This blue snowball, I literally bought it when I was 17, and I'm 23 in literally 3 months. So I've had the mic I've had a really long time. I've had the mic a long time. But then the thing with that, I'm going to turn my mic on, so I'm going to turn the desktop audio. Yeah, the thing with that, Globeans, is if you were born in 2019, you're now 6 years old. But do you know what's more crazy? Last year, kids who started school in the UK last year, because you start school when you're 4, nearly 5. So kids born in summer, kids born in COVID lockdowns would have started school last year. If you were born in the COVID lockdown of March to June 2020, you would have started school in September 2024, because so in a couple of years, in 11 years time, in 11 years time they'll be 16 and they would be leaving school. In 11 years time they'll be 16 leaving school, and it'd be like I was born during the COVID pandemic. Yeah, but then you can say that, but you missed all the times of when all the great movies were coming out, such as Indiana Jones, the original Star Warses. Are they really missing out? Are they missing out? Because great films come out every year, great video games come out every year. In 30 years' time, Minecraft might not exist anymore. It might be some completely different game. The biggest game when I was younger was things like Call of Duty. Now it's Minecraft. Minecraft was obviously massive. Minecraft become Minecraft become popular when I was like 10. Minecraft only really become popular in like 2012. 2012, I remember a lot about that. The London Olympics. Please tell me everyone here has watched parts of the London Olympics. Honestly, watch the opening ceremony. It's classed as the best opening ceremony in history. The opening ceremony, the opening ceremony of the Olympics of 2012, it was done by a film director. So in the first 30 minutes, they basically go through British history. They basically show you British history. They show you what Britain was like, how it was. They show you how rural Britain was in the 1700s, and then it gets to like 1750. It gets to 1750, and then you see, the trains appear. Because Britain invented the steam trains, and obviously all trains were all made by the British. And you see it go from, rural countryside farmland to factories, workshops, towers, steam mills, sawmills. And yeah, that's the thing though. I said this to someone on a stream the other night. Someone said about it could have been done without colonization, which isn't true. Colonization wasn't about let's go kill everyone. It was called let's go and expand our empire so we can improve our knowledge. It was about getting more materials in. That's how the British discovered tea. They found things called tea. They found tobacco. What's happened? Cool. Maybe it might be worth digging to the surface now and then getting some wood and then go into where you would have blocked up and digging back down and then doing a ladder down. Do you know where mine is? It's straight under my minigame area. Straight under my minigame area to the point that I had a ladder there for years, and it's now I've had to get rid of the ladder because it's straight under the gladiator arena. Yeah, I got rid of it recently. I need another way down to it, actually. Yeah. Sometimes you don't know the shape though. That's the issue. Sometimes you don't know the shape. So what I did with when I rebuilt the Survive Legacy house, what I did was I actually built a huge square, and I built the shape of the house on the outside. I just gotta quickly make something a minute. What does everyone think? B-Tech, Ronald McDonald. I don't know. Sometimes... No, it was there. It was already there. I just decided to put a face on it. The leaves and that were already there. I just decided to put a random face on it. What was this for? This was... And we could hear it, I think. Say something? Okay. That's so weird. I put desktop audio on, but it's not picking anything up. That's so weird. Hello to the people who are watching this stream right now. We're almost at 7,000 subscribers. We're... Bloody hell. What should I build this in the future? I have no idea what it is. I've already got something similar to that, I think. I'm going to put something on the stream, guys. I'm going to put something on the stream. Somebody asked me yesterday about my book, The Doll Maker. Is it an adult book? Yes, it's 18 rated because it's a horror story. Most horror stories are 18 rated. And it is 18 rated, so if somebody that is young buys it, I've already put this warning out here numerous times, so I don't want any like lawsuits saying, "Oh, I bought the book. I bought the book because you promoted it." I have put the warning on numerous times. I have no idea what happened to Soldier. I had to boot him from my Discord server because he just... I think he's got some sort of like condition or something like that, because what he did, he said you've got to maintain he knew that he said to me in this in Decepted's VC, because I'm lenient with swear words. I don't care about swear words, but he said you've got to be able to handle swear words. That's what he said to me. So everyone should have to handle the N-word. And I said, well, that's not a swear word. That's a racial slur. He could not understand that isn't. He thought that he thought that it was okay to say that, because I said everyone on the Discord server should be able to handle swear words. But I told him that that's not a swear word. That's that's a racial slur. That isn't a swear word. Yeah, but then he's from a North European country where it's not that it's acceptable to say that. There's not as many black people in some of the North European countries. Like, I think he was Finnish. I think he's from Finland. No, they can't. Basically, but it's like the Ozan situation. I had to kick him out because he was a creep. Mm. Yeah. Is it actually 50? How long have you had your channel? How long have you had your channel for? I think if you go and try and live stream on one of those, I don't think it matters about the 50 requirement. So the YouTube channel I've got, which I will move my podcast onto after if it takes off, is only got 35 subs. Because I've had it since 2017, the 50 sub requirement is invalid. I don't need it. The 50 sub requirement's invalid if you have an old enough channel, I think. Actually, it might be your it might be your age, because YouTube have changed. Ah, YouTube requirements have changed, so if you're under 16 now, you can no longer stream. I do feel sorry for people that have been. I do feel sorry for, like, you know, young people that have been streaming for like 2-3 years since they who were like 14, 15, and then they've lost the ability to do it now. But YouTube have got to do something, because some kids are violating the rules. But it's fair enough. But you should know about that stuff. But the problem is there's some kids that are just too naive and just don't listen. For example, when I was in school, a kid who was streaming on YouTube, and they walked up and shoved a camera in my face. So this is after I'd left school. I think I was walking home. I think I'd left school. This was one of my last years in school. 6-year-old kid who was streaming his face on YouTube just walked up to me as I was walking past and shoved his camera in my face. Shoved his phone in my face, which that's illegal. He's streaming on a platform he shouldn't be on, but also it's illegal. In the UK, you can't go up and shove a camera in someone's face. That is but that's a thing though. No offense, but an 8-year-old shouldn't be on YouTube anyway. Hello Naba Ahmed, welcome to the stream. But that's the thing though, but at 6 years old though, you don't know much in that regard. So like, I still don't think you should be on YouTube. You shouldn't be on YouTube till you're at least 13, and that's the YouTube's requirements. It's the same with Roblox. All these kids people complaining about predators on Roblox, but their young children shouldn't be on that game in the first place. There shouldn't be predators on there, but if these parents actually paid attention to the rules, their kids wouldn't be on there as prey. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . It's still been like that though, because there was allegations against Roblox and that when I was like 10, 11. Yeah. Roblox, there's been allegations like that against Roblox for years. It's not about listening to the community. What they need to do is just turn around and they need to ban the accounts, but also they need to take a leaf out of TikTok's book. TikTok terminated all the accounts at one point that were under 13. But if you were born in 2017, that's what you'd be 8. You'd be 8. I don't know. But I don't understand it. Well, personally, it might be as well that I'm older. It might be as well because of my age. But also, I just don't understand Roblox. I've never played it because I saw my sister play it like 10 years ago. And I just thought, oh, that's a shit game. The graphics have never changed since 2006. If you actually, this is a true fact, everyone. Roblox was actually released halfway through development because they gave up on developing it. The problem is the games development games now. Video games are now very popular. So like 40 years ago, it's mainly teenagers that wanted to play video games. Now those teenagers that were teenagers 40 years ago, they're still playing video games. Because video games have no age. So like, video games have no age. And there are people like Lion Maker Studios, for example. Lion Maker Studios, for example, was a Minecraft YouTuber. Do you know, I liked some of his Minecraft content at the time. And then it came out that at a convention, he'd asked a young girl, a 13-year-old, for 500 quid for something. And when he got arrested, his comment after it all came out, he put on social media, I thought I fooled you all and I made buckets loads of cash whilst doing it. No, Dan TDM and Stampede literally, they've never been embroiled in controversy. Well, the only controversy Dan TDM had was his spat with KSI, and Dan TDM was correct. Basically, whatever it is, was it Lunchley? Lunchley was not the most healthiest thing ever, and they billed it as that, and that's what Dan TDM said. He said, "Oh, 10 years ago, the worst thing a YouTuber could do was the last. That's not Nightbot. That's not Nightbot. The last thing." The last thing the worst thing a YouTuber could do 10 years ago was was sell shit merch, and he said that now it's poison kids with unhealthy products. How do you know that, Nightbot? This makes it sound like it's Swiss Rex. How do you? Is that because you can see it on my book, Nightbot Imposter? I'm your dad. You're not. If you were, you wouldn't. If you were, you wouldn't ask me my name. If you were my dad, you wouldn't ask me my name. You'd know it. Come downstairs. Dinner's ready. Jesus. That's incredible. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? Because it wouldn't be dinner. It wouldn't be dinner. It would be tea. Because the traditional, where I'm from in the UK, they say tea, not dinner. We're having McDonald's. Yes, the nearest McDonald's is about 30 miles. Is over 40. The nearest McDonald's is about, I don't know, 15 miles away. Can't be McDonald's. And plus, and the funny thing is, Nightbot Imposter, my dad doesn't even like McDonald's. But you do. I might do. But then he wouldn't go to McDonald's just for me. He'd go somewhere else where he likes the food too. And plus, he's at work, so he's not downstairs. Court in 4K, I agree. Court in 4K. Well, I'm not going to do that, Glowbeans, because I don't like the whole concept of you continue your series but on a different world. I think that's just a cheapskate. I think if you either continue the world on the same world, or you just start a new world in general and just create a new series. Make me moderate. Nah, we don't need any more moderators, I'm afraid, Nightbot. Everyone wants to be moderator, but we don't need too many moderators. Sorry, that was my brother. Why does everyone tell me that nowadays? Someone griefed my world in 2018, and then they said someone griefed my world in 2018, and then they said, it wasn't me, it was my brother. Likely story. And for all you know, it might have been his brother, but I have no idea. And hit it. That's the quickest. That's the quickest hide and find in history. Blimey. Nightbot isn't spamming. Nightbot's programmed to say that at exactly the right points. Nightbot's programmed to say that exactly when I tell him to, when exactly at certain equidistant points, because we need Well, we need the announcements, so it announcing my novels. Guess who's back? Hello, Nick. Welcome back. Never promise anything, Globebeans. Why? Why never promise nothing? Yeah, but then there are people that generally do it. So, for example, I'm making a promise on these streams that I've got an absolute dedication and determination and the knowledge that I know we'll hit 7,000 subs by the end of the year. He took it when he said, but you do. Cool. La 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 la. That was a yawn, and I started singing la 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 while I was doing it. Nah, it was actually from Doctor Who. It was actually from Doctor Who. Halfway through an episode of Doctor Who, they had an alien just singing dagadoo, dagadoo, la 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 la, dagadoo, 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 la 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 la. They honestly, they actually did that for 10 hours. They actually did a whole song of that for 10 hours. Dagadoo, dagadoo, la 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 la. I'm like, bloody hell. No, honestly, they did. Honestly, Google Dugadoo into YouTube. Just trying to think of what I want to build in this world. I've got absolutely no ideas to build anything. That's incredible. I don't know. Oh, God. I'm playing GTA 5. I'm going to take me a few minutes to find a good spot for my getaway car. Shady's back. Hello, Athletic Dubai. How old is my world? 9 years old. Already got one. Yeah. Yeah, already got a circus, yep. A marketplace, like shops. I have got shops. A stadium. Football pitch. Haven't got the stadium part because obviously it would be too big. It would be too big for the minigame area. But I've got the football pitch. Actually, no, I have. I've got the Gladiator Arena. The Gladiator Arena is a stadium. Already done that. What don't I have? That's the thing. Hold on, where is the lighthouse? The lighthouse design's literally over here. This is when I was coming up with it. Well, no, this is when I was coming up with the second design when I rebuilt it. Hello, Umar Baldy. Welcome to the stream. You really hate what of the lighthouse? Yeah, the old one looked nicer. The old, I'll admit, the old. Let's exit and save. I liked the old. I preferred the older one, but I wanted to remake it. I've got one. Hold on a sec. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back. Hello, Josh22, welcome to the stream. Na 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 na, Climate of Joe is a twat, Climate of Joe's a twat. Na 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 na, Climate of Joe is a twat, Climate of Joe's a twat. Sorry. Yeah, oh no. The best one ever was in COVID. I doubt any of you American people in this stream will have knew about this. During this start of the COVID pandemic, Boris Johnson and the government basically held lockdown parties while everyone else couldn't visit anyone. So when it came out, so they were abusing their own lockdown rules that they brought in, and it just happened to be that during 2000, when it came out in 2021, when it came out in the year later in 2021, somebody did a video where somebody did a video, and it was na 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 na, Boris is a cunt, Boris is a cunt, na 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 na, Boris is a cunt, and someone sung that just in front of like 10,000 people or something. But they said the government abused their power. But yeah, the song should be na 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 na, Climate of Joe is a twat, Climate of Joe's a twat. Anyway, I don't know what we're gonna do. I think it was a big mistake to elect Donald Trump in the first place. No, I mean, I think it was a terrible decision to elect him in the first place, as in 2016. I don't understand how he won, like, you know. Yeah. But he should never have been at Jimmy Carter's funeral, because weeks late. Yeah, but the thing is though with that, what I mean about Trump, you probably wouldn't remember the election of 2016, would you? He was 85% of the US population predicted Hillary Clinton to win, and they said it come as a shock. On election day, that the rumor of like Russian interference came from, it was so out of the blue that they thought it was rigged. There's a lot of allegations to suggest that Hillary Clinton was, you know how Donald Trump claims like the Democrats robbed the election. There's a lot of allegations that the Republicans robbed the election from Hillary Clinton. It's a really interesting concept, but literally nobody in America wanted Donald Trump, and they said they don't understand how he won. But well, I heard a rumor he wants Greenland, but he can't get Greenland because it's owned by Denmark. And in fact, if Greenland was to turn around and say, fine, we'll sell Greenland. If Denmark was to go, we'll sell Greenland, they would have to offer it to the UK first. Denmark had a deal with the UK 110 years ago that if Greenland ever went to sale, the UK would have the first rights to buy. And they reckon to piss off Trump, they reckon the UK would do it as well. They reckon the UK would go and buy Greenland just to piss him off. They reckon Trump wants to military annex it, and I'm like, you can't do that, because you know the US would be kicked out of NATO. He'd be invading a NATO ally. Yeah, he's not friends with them. He's not friends with any. He's not friends with any of them. But the thing with Trump is Trump's a very good liar. Have you ever seen the clip of him and Michael Moore? Trump said about how I met Michael Moore, I had dinner with him, and Michael Moore, who's a famous film director, said that's a load of bollocks. I never had lunch with him. And it's true. Donald Trump is very much a liar, and some of the shit he says, like he said about, oh, I met Michael Moore, I like him, I've had dinner with him, and he hadn't. Michael Moore is a very honest man, and he said, I never had dinner with him. I met him once. I met him once at an event, and he mocked me. He goes, why would I have lunch with him? Yeah. Why? Why link which? Why? Because you want... I'm confused. I'm confused what you mean. Because I've had the... I don't know. I can't tell you that because I don't know. Because they're in it, and it's one of those as well. I don't want to. I'm in more Discord. I'm in a couple of Discord servers about other stuff like filmmaking, things like that. Read the start of the chat and see why Josh said 22x. I can't see. I can't see why it says na. I can, but I forget. His wife isn't Mexican. She's Slovenian. Yeah. Melania Trump's Slovenian. So she's European. No, it's because I think she technically was... I think she moved to the United States, but she is Slovenian. No, he did it as a joke. He did it as a joke. He basically found out that he was massive on NBC for The Apprentice, and the thing with Donald Trump, he found out someone was on more than him, so he wanted to prove that he deserved a higher paycheck than the other person, and so he jokingly announced that he was running for president, hoping it would up his paycheck by NBC, and it didn't. It got him sacked. And then because obviously he'd already booked these fake rallies, he decided to do it, and because people were that supportive of him, he decided to run. But a lot of people still think Hillary Clinton won, which... But that's the thing. Have you ever seen the clip of Gordon Brown and David Cameron? Gordon Brown and David Cameron, they were shaking. They were literally shaking hands. They'd fought a debate. it was a narrow defeat. It was a narrow defeat for Gordon Brown, and he was absolutely, and shaking hands. And that's the thing. He lost the election, and he wished the person that beats him, all the best luck. The thing is, though, it's only Donald Trump that was like that. Hillary Clinton, wished him luck, and Hillary Clinton actually said to him. Hillary Clinton actually said to Donald Trump something along the I think it was something along the lines of, "Just remember that you're the president of all the people, not not your." I think she said something to him along the lines of, "Just remember you're a president for all the people, not just your voters." And that is true. And reportedly which is why I don't like him. From an outside perspective, when they had forest fires, he didn't do anything about it because California didn't vote for him, and then he went on the live stage and said, "Oh, the forest fires happened because someone forgot to rake the forest floors." But I think he's one of those. I think Trump's petty. I don't think he. With him though, I get a set from an outside perspective as a British person. I get the feeling of if you piss him off, you it never ends. I think it's one of those with Trump. I think if you humiliate him, like, he doesn't get over it. So there was a family joke. Now read chat. Yeah, nah. Shady's back. Cool. Well, na is a very famous song. Na, Boris is a twat. I have no idea. Na, Calamity Joe is a twat, Calamity Joe's a twat. You know Eminem. Well, yeah, I do know who Eminem is. I don't like rap music, so I think rap music's and I think rap music's boring myself, but I don't like rap music, everyone. But I know who Eminem is, but I don't like rap music myself. But the reason I don't like it is just because you used to hear rappers. He made Houdini. Well, he didn't make Houdini, did he? Because the real life he didn't. Well, yeah, but the real life he didn't make the real life Houdini. The real life Houdini is over 100 years old, older than him. Houdini is Harry Houdini was probably the world's greatest stunt performer. The guy was mad. The guy Harry Houdini was absolutely mental. Didn't he die? I didn't realise Harry Houdini was only 5'6". Jesus. Two of the Beatles, man. Yeah, but the Beatles took off when they were 20s. Yeah, that's true. The Beatles took off, but when the Beatles took off in like 1960, John Lennon was 20. Paul McCartney was like 18. One of the other ones might be Ringo Starr, was like 17. And George Harrison was what, 20 as well. So when they took off, they were literally 20s. That's still not a guaranteed thing though. You can do that, but the thing is, what people do with that, what the fact that people get wrong with that, what people get wrong with doing that, putting shares in buying shares in companies, is as soon as they make a profit, they take it out. But the whole thing is, you've got to keep those shares for years, and they either go up or down. The secret to doing that is it's got to be a long investment, not 2 seconds. Oh, it's gone up a bit, take it out. That's not how it works. How it works is things. So, for example, say you put £800 into Apple in 1976. That would now be worth a couple of billion. You've got to be in it for the long haul, and you've got to hope it goes right. If it goes right, then you sell your shares, then you've got that money. But if it goes wrong, if it goes wrong, you've put a pound in, you've lost that pound. But if it goes right, you've put a pound in, and you've got 10,000 back. That's where it also works. It's an interesting concept, but it's also about profit. So, for example, I do it with my books. With my books, I've got to obviously sell enough to make a profit, which is very hard because whenever I promote it, I tend to promote it on my YouTube channel, which is probably not the right choice. That wouldn't work though. What I mean is, if you buy a vintage car, Globeans, they want it as the vintage car, so it's not about adding new features on, like improving it and modernizing it. It's about making the vintage car be able people. It's about restoring it to what it would have been like in that time period. It was me the whole time. Long my laptop died, I was on my phone. Cool. Yeah, vintage cars. If you don't want a vintage car with modern features, you want the vintage car as it was vintage, which is why they want it vintage. But to actually restore the vintage car as a vintage car, it would cost more than 10 grand. You could buy the car, might cost 10 grand, but it might cost 30,000-40,000 pounds in repairs, and then you're hoping you've made a profit from it. Then you have to hope that you sell it for like 100 grand. You own a football company, lol, really? Cool. But that's the thing with it as well. It's like with my book stuff. If I'm trying to sell a book, I've got to sell it for the right price that people buy it, but for the right price that I make a profit. Look at the name, Athletic BC in Dubai. Well, you've actually got to have the money to it. It's like with a company. So that we had the guy Hab in my Discord server. How man, you playing Minecraft? I am. Hello, Winnie Bang. Welcome to the stream. Well, Hab was exactly like that in Decepted server, saying about how he was going to make all this money, but he doesn't understand that you have to have money to form a company. And he basically thinks that you can just make video games. You have a sports building, cool. Yes, talking about my book stuff. If I'm trying to sell it, it costs more to sell a book in Australia than some other places. I have to charge more. I'm back, guys. Sorry, I had to quickly nip away. Right. We should play together. What version do you play? I'm Nightbot. I'm Night. Minecraft username. You liked the stream. I don't play Java Edition. I only play Bedrock. Yeah, I don't play Bedrock. I'm playing Legacy Console Edition. Why is my pickaxe just disappeared from me? That's so weird. Ooh. Is it night time again? Do we have a... Tell me we have a bed in this dirt house. No, we don't. Can I thank everyone on this stream though for we're starting to force our way up to 7,800. We're 33 away. If we can hit that by the end of the month, I will be really pleased. And we're aiming to 7,000 by the end of the month. But I think we could possibly do that by November. I mean, for all you know, we could hit it next week if something bizarre were to happen. But you never know. As I said, you never know what's going to happen. Hello, spiders. I'm here. Take me on, spiders. Take me on like a man. I wonder how many... There we go. I have built a warehouse. I have built one. I'm going to quickly... Literally, if I... Well, I built a warehouse / barn. But there is that a barn and a warehouse are exactly the same thing. I do... So, but what? You cut out. I have built a maze. Literally, you name it, I've built it at this point. That's why I have to move to Bedrock eventually, because then I can just build more. Do you mean a shopping centre? It's the same thing. Yeah, we call them a shopping centre because it's the centre of the shops. It's a centre full of shops. I don't like the look of that though, to be honest. I don't like the look of rebuilding things for the sake of rebuilding things. And it's because if you built something that a long time ago, it's sort of nostalgia looking at it. It's sort of nostalgia looking at it, so I wouldn't want to knock down everything I've built. Sorry guys, I've got Discord on, but my Discord or my desktop audio is not coming through Discord. Nice, you play Bedrock? I do not play Bedrock. I play Legacy Console Edition mostly. Here's the warehouse. Here's the warehouse, Globeans. Here's the warehouse. There should be sheep in it, but all my sheep have despawned. I have got one. All my dogs are living in it. That would be a nice idea to build all my houses from all the old Survival Legacy houses, but then I would need a huge space because some of them are huge. I have built my old bedroom from my old house. in a museum. It's in somewhere. I have built a museum. I've only built a work. Do you mean a watchtower? I don't know what a work tower is. Nah, it's my controller. That's interesting. I built an underwater restaurant, and it's a tower restaurant. It's just my mission of supporting small streamers. Thank you. I am actually a small streamer in both regards because I'm not very tall. I'm just making a joke. I think that was a funny joke. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me, but I thought it was funny. But it's my first stream here. Cool. Welcome. I'm gonna quickly enter into this house down here. Shit, I've entered through the wrong way. That's why I can't find the staircase. I would though, because vibrant visuals look so nice. But nothing's that cool. Yeah, that's because Herobrine doesn't exist when you bang. Herobrine doesn't exist and was a joke. Herobrine was just a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke by people playing Minecraft back in like 2011, and it become this great myth, but it was actually a joke. But they just hire friends and give them insane combos. Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, guys, I might end this stream in a minute because I want to write. I've got a podcast to film. Yeah, I had to turn my mic off, guys, on the stream. But yeah, I will. This stream will not be on for much longer because I'm going to aim to refilm my absolutely absolutely unscripted with Calamity of Joe podcast. Nah, that's alright. If there's something in my stream, I just clip it. I've got a couple of clip bits at the moment. I've got one which I was singing, and then a polar bear just come down and killed me. Yes, the podcast will be refilmed. I'm doing V for Vendetta, which is one of my favourite films. This podcast, people get to learn, everyone, about what my favourite films are. And I want to do Blazing Saddles, but I don't think I'm that brave. Blazing Saddles is an old comedy. It's one of the greatest comedies of all time, but it's a very, very good comedy. But it was written... There's a lot of racist slurs in it, but it was written by a black man, and the whole film's about anti-racism. And it's all about... They want to take over this town so they can build a train line through it and get rid of the town. So they send because the people won't leave, they send a black man to be sheriff. So of course, back in the day it was very racist. So they thought that, because there's a black sheriff, all the people will leave, and it ended up they took to the sheriff. The whole film is that they take to the sheriff and think he's a good man. So it's really a film about anti-racism, and it's just the funniest. The comedy is ridiculous. There's a scene in it, and they do the Looney Tunes thing, but they call the character Mongo, and then the sheriff turns up, goes package for Mongo, and then he gives him what you think is a Wheaties box. And then suddenly it explodes, and then it does the Bugs Bunny tune. I'm like, what? But it's a great comedy. It's very funny, but bizarre. There's a bit when they're all eating beans and they're all farting. We want more beans. I swear you've had enough. It's a great film. Somebody told the director a few years ago, you wouldn't be able to get away with filming that now. He goes, well, I couldn't get away with it then, but I did it anyway. I'm like, fair play to him. Like, honestly, he's doing Spaceballs too. Mel Brooks is doing Spaceballs too. Literally, it's a Star Wars parody, but it's one of the funniest parody films ever. It's called... Bill Pullman, who played Thomas Whitmore in Independence Day, he plays the Han Solo character. He plays the Luke Skywalker character. He plays a man called Lone Star. And he's after a mysterious power called the Schwartz. So they're doing a second one in 2027 to celebrate 40 years since Spaceballs, and the second one's called the Schwartz Awakens. You got building tips. I think it's too basic. Well, that's good. These are basic. Look, these are basic. It's just a house. It's just a house out of birch and a roof. It's not about building over the top. To improve your building, it's about making the basic stuff right. So, I don't make over the top builds. I make builds that I want to build. If you get what I mean. I build whatever comes to my head. So, I decided to make a house out of leaves, an igloo out of bookshelves, a house out of dirt, the dirt house, a house dirt. It's not about building crazy builds. It's about building whatever comes to your head. You don't have to build crazy stuff. I'd rather have 100 simple builds than one major, than one massive, than one over the top. Sometimes I have gone over the top with some stuff like the snow globe, but the snow globe, I have gone over the top with a couple of builds, but the builds that I've gone over the top with were for special things, like the monument over there was to celebrate 5,000 subs. The little monument here was to celebrate 4,000. The skyscraper on Galactica City was to celebrate 2,000, 3,000 and 4,000. 2,000 and 3,000. I've got no ideas about what to celebrate for 6,000 yet, because we hit 6,000 rather recently. We built this to celebrate 4,000. You wouldn't have watched my channel, Glowbeans, when I had 4,000, because I hit 5,000 in April of 24. A lot of you newer people watching my streams now started watching this year, so I had 5,000. I wouldn't blow on your own trumpet. That's a genuine quote in the UK about, you know how people sometimes big themselves up and go, but I'm the coolest, but I'm the greatest. It's called blowing on your own trumpet, so you're bigging yourself up. And it's not actually it's not actually seen as a very good thing to do. But yeah, that's a genuine quote, blowing on your own trumpet. So like, no, it's a genuine quote. Like, some people, I met someone that did that once. On his CV, he put, why don't you use a dirt path? You use a wooden pan, because I think it looks nice. Dirt paths, I think, are a little bit boring if you see them too much. Shh. Why can't I join the VC? Oh, it's because, hold on, it's because I've made it, we had people join, so I made it thing. Let me just change it back. I got told that I should change it to 2 people. Shit the bed, I'm going to explode. Shit, that could have been worse, because look at the drop. Let me just sort that. There we go. There's no limit again. There is no limit. I added a limit because we had a lot of people join. And now I've got, aka 1 person, but then I've got rid of the limit. There is no limit. Hello, by the way. Hello, that one funny kid. You've run away from Trump and arrived in Dubai. Why are you running away from Trump though? You're like 14. You're like 14. Like you can't make a difference in the world. Why Dubai though? You've got to be fairly rich if you're living in Dubai. I got to be honest. I that's a place I'll never go because I don't agree with them. It's a place. I just moved to Dubai. Yeah, that's a place that I would never go myself because those countries are too abusive with their power and too religious, in my opinion. In Dubai, you can't drink alcohol in public, which you can't. You can't hold hands with a girl in public. There's a lot of stuff. They're very strict with their laws, which fair enough. But there are countries that are too strict with their laws. Now, I think Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are too strict with their laws. Yeah, but Hawaii is part of the. Actually, Hawaii should not be part of the United States. No, it shouldn't. No, Hawaii shouldn't be part of any country. Hawaii was a part of the British Empire. They released it and gave it independence, and then America just outright annexed it 50 years later, which you can't do that. If it would be illegal now. It would be illegal now for what America did. They just decided to annex it. Hello. No, no, no. Thing. Have you ever seen what they did with Canada? Oregon used to be part of a greater Oregon, which used to be part of the what was now Canada, and the Americans sent a load of people there to take the land. The only reason Canada's got the really long border is because America sent a lot of people there to the point the British couldn't guarantee holding it anymore because there was more Americans there with Canada, which the British people. But that's illegal. Nowadays, that would be illegal. That would be forcing. That would be like, Israel, the settlers thing, sending settlers to the West Bank to guarantee holding that land, and saying there's more Israeli people there than Palestinian people. Um, Basically, America did it as well. Interesting though. Hello, that one funny kid. But then some people's voices don't break till they're older. you've got to plan it though. You can't just go into it and make it up on the spot, because the story's got to have a rhythm. It's got to have a plot, a meaning. It's like, it's got to have that. So, for example, I used it last night where the main character says his iconic. The main character with his has a moniker, like a quote he always uses, and he mentions it for the first time in the story that I'm working on. No, his is Hail Imperialism. It was either that. Well, yeah, he says that because, you know, he's working for he's the you know, head of the military. He's doing well for himself. There's nothing going on my profile picture, just a set me pissing off an Armenian person that told me I should write cute books, apparently. I should write cute books, everyone, I should write cute books, apparently, because I pissed off an Armenian person that's got schizophrenia. Because he believed that I don't know. I think he's got schizophrenia. He says he hasn't, but he keeps saying about how demons. I make scary book with I make scary book with blood. I must be possessed by demons. He comments, and I'm like, it was that guy from my server, Hab. It was like Hab who was in my it was Hab who was in my Discord server. He basically, before we booted him out, he's still in my friend's server, but honestly, he's just, I don't understand him. Would you guys like to know? Would you guys like to know the greatest statement I've ever seen in my life? This is on the Scepted server, so let me read it out. He put something yesterday, and I could predict what he was going to say. It was brilliant. And it was so basically Decepted put something in Russian for him, and he responded, "I'm not here, bro, you created me in your brain, I'm just fantasy, bye bye." That's what he's put, and honestly, do you know what I've responded with? Because he's really religious, and like keeps telling me that he's really religious, so I told him, does that mean I'm God, as I created you? And then you should have seen his reaction. You are not God, you are not God. I'm like, well, you just said I created you. Honestly, then he told me to go to church. On Decepted server, he told me to go to church this morning. And, because he keeps, if he doesn't like what you've said, if he doesn't like what you've said, or you don't agree with him, he tells you to go to church, and that's his way of trying to insult you. And then he puts, go to church, bro. He put go to church, bro. So I put why. He goes, I trying to insult you. He put I tried to insult you. And then Nether in my friend's server said, how is that an insult? And he's put you don't know question mark, obviously the Hab. And I responded, that's not an insult. It would be I responded, I'm going to hell for this comment. I responded to his comment about I'm trying to insult you with go to church. I put, that's not an insult. It would be an insult if I told you to, you don't need the church, you need a mental hospital. I probably I shouldn't have said that, but... Oh no, he told me he wanted a Japan. He told me, he asked me in Decepted to pay for him to go to Japan the other day because he needs to marry a Japanese girl. And I said, you do realize you can't just go to Japan and go, right, you're my wife. I love it. It's amazing. Decepted isn't work. Or he's at work, or he's at work or he's shagging his girlfriend. I'm joking. Shouldn't have made that joke. I said he's at work. I said he's either at work or shagging his girlfriend. But of course I was making the joke. I shouldn't have made that joke. Anyway, I'm gonna end this stream, guys, in a minute. Cliff, Jesus. Everyone kept calling me uncle. Everyone kept calling me uncle on the stream. Yeah, that made me feel weird. That made me feel weird though. I'm like, that made me weird. That I actually felt uncomfortable with that, with people calling me Papa on the stream. I didn't like it. So I jokingly said, then they called me uncle, and I was like, well, I'm not old enough to be an uncle. Technically, actually, I am. Technically old enough to be an uncle. Technically, I am. And actually, talking of which, a friend of mine who was in my college... Friend of mine who was in my college course. I say not old enough to be a papa. A friend of mine who was in my college course, he's 22 and he's got 2 twin daughters, and I'm like, okay, crazy. I feel old. I'm joking, I don't feel old. If you were born in 2000, yeah. When did that come out? I'm not old. I was born in 2000. I was born in 2002. I'm not old. Get my walker out. Fucking hell! I'm not that fat. That's all right, but you can just say, well, fuck you, Jeff. I don't know why. Yeah, but Jeff's an actual name. No, but Jeff is an actual name, like. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Goldblum. Ooh. I need to... Talking about being old though. Could be worse. You could say, could be worse. Could be worse. You could say, if you've got a rifle pointed at your head. Could be worse. Prince Philip, who was Queen Elizabeth II, her husband, Prince Philip, he used to go there and just go to countries, and he used to just, he had a sense of humour. So while he was in Australia, because obviously Australia is really hard to get into if you have a criminal record, and Prince Philip was asked on a trip there, jokingly, have you got a criminal record? And he jokingly said, I didn't know that was still a requirement. because we used to set. But if you get the context, we used to when Australia was part of the British Empire, it was known as the prison colony. But we sent convicts there. So when they asked him when they asked him, oh, have you got any criminal records? He goes, I didn't know that was still a requirement. And then he did something else. One of the presidents of Africa turned up in like the ceremonial dress, and then Prince Philip responded, "You look like you're ready for bed." I mean that, but yeah, but that is actually racist. That is actually racist, though. But that Donald Trump. Yeah, but Donald Trump. I don't actually think Donald Trump's racist. I think he's just one of those. He's an old man. He's 79, and some of the stuff he says wasn't offensive when he was a kid. It's the same as elderly people aren't racist like some people think them out to be. They don't understand that you can't say those things anymore because it was normal to them when they were a kid. Like my grandmother said it. Instead of saying a black person, she said I saw a coloured person, which obviously that is racist now. But it wasn't racist. It wasn't racist when they were children. But it wasn't racist then because back in the day Indian people lived in India. Like 30 years ago Polish people lived in Poland, and you've never really saw a Polish person. But because of obviously the Iron Curtain in the Soviet Union, Polish, Czechoslovakian people, they were behind the Iron Curtain of where they couldn't travel to Europe, to the rest of Europe. Anyway, thank you everyone for this stream, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.